Welcome back. We are here with Greg from SafT Integration. Good to see you again, Greg. So let's just say I own a company, and let's say I'm in a state that, the state has sort of told me who my workers' comp panel is going to be. That's it?
Cool deal. That's a great question.
Is that it? And I have no say?
No, but you do.
Oh, good. All right. All right.
But a lot of people.
This guy always has the right answer.
Your insurance agent might tell you don't, or the person that you call might tell you that you don't.
All right.
It depends. So some states you have a panel of doctors that you have to use for work-related injuries. In some states, like Ohio comes to mind, you don't. In Ohio, you can see anyone. And there's things you can do with that too. So again, I talk a lot about communication and making sure you're collecting the right information. And we've talked about that enough. So what you need to do now is you need to understand how to ask and how to work through the process to get the right panel so you don't have a bad doctor. You can get one bad doctor on there. He can start taking people off of work when you have a good transitional duty program.
Okay.
And they're staying at home and they're getting paid to stay home on workers' comp. And that's going to drive up your experience modification numbers. It's going to cost a business owner a ton of money that year and the year after. It's almost a 3.5 year impact the way the mod's calculated. So for somebody to be removed from work when you have stuff that they can do is insane to me. And again, my goal is if an incident occurs, find out what happened so it can never happen again, and two, get that person back to work. And I tell a doctor, if they can drive and they can wipe their butt, I got a job for them.
They can do something else. Be reassigned and be productive.
We're gonna find something where we're gonna do whatever we gotta do, and it would still be a restricted case, but they would still be at work. Sure. So they wouldn't be getting that indemnity money sitting at home not doing anything at work. So what do you do when your insurance agent tells you, let's just use PA as an example, it's close. So PA, you pick your insurance company, and there's a bunch of them over there. Okay. And then they give you your new panel, and they're like, hey, here's your new panel. These are the doctors you use. And you look at it and you go, that doctor takes people off work all the time. Now what do? I don't want them on my panel. Yeah. Well, you can't change that. Yes, you can. It's your panel. All right, and they love the little fine print stuff, so you have to have the argument. But why argue? So you ask for help. So then you would call in maybe to a claims person or your insurance agent and say, I want to change this panel. So the trick is getting through the right steps to get to the right person and say, I don't want this doctor on the panel. And you ask for help. Hey, I would like to have this doctor. We know that we've worked with him the last 3 years. He doesn't take people off work. He wants to help them get better, faster, stronger in a controlled environment. And what better way if the doc says, hey, you can't lift 40 pounds. So if you're off work, are you gonna go home and, hey, I can knock some stuff off the list and go outside your restrictions? You bet your ass you're gonna do that, right? We already know it happens. That's why they have, there's companies that follow people around for surveillance.
I've seen those videos myself.
Yeah, no, look at that guy. He's working harder not at work than he does at work. And that's what everybody's thinking. And it's not always that situation, but it's out there, right? So now what happens is that person gets restricted. They come back to work on a transitional duty job, and you can keep an eye on them, right? So, hey, you're not allowed to lift 40 pounds. I always tell my clients, listen, when that guy comes back or that girl comes back, have them sign on the bottom of the restrictions what they review it with them so they understand it. And say, I don't want to see you lifting. You can sit down every hour, whatever the restrictions may be. Sign here. Now that becomes a safety
that's a good idea.
Guideline. And you can go, hey, why were you lifting that box? You know that's a 100-pound box.
Yep.
You're not, well, I'm feeling good today. No, you're not allowed to do any of this until, and you can literally now document that under your safety manual and your HR policy and use it as a tool to stop that person from hurting themselves more. And they're going to go home and break the rules anyway. But for at least an 8-hour day, you have control over the way that person is recovering. And because you're at work, you're not smoking. You're not going to lift what you're not supposed to. And if you're not smoking, you're going to have at least 8 hours of better circulation. So communication and understanding that I can get the right doctors on my panel is awesome. And in a state like Ohio, where there is no panel and anybody can go see any doctor they want, your trick now is doctor communication. So I talk about that all the time. So I would want to say, they tell you who the doctor is, and I would say, Doc, hey, I just want to let you know we have a transitional duty program. I can send you a job description of what that person does, and I can send you a blank one that you can tell me what they can do if need be. I usually like to send them one filled out of a transitional position so there's no gray. Yeah. But I've even asked the doctor, hey, I'll let them do anything. You just tell me what they need to do. Put it in writing. Can they sit, stand, lift, push, pull, whatever it may be. And you get that description back, and then you handle it the same way. You get that person into transitional duty. You don't have to mess with putting doctors on panels and things like that, like some states. So for any situation, you kind of have a little bit of control as long as you know the steps and how to walk through the process.
It's just good to know that you have that control and that you can do it, and all the reasons you described of why it's good, and why it's good for the employee too.
Absolutely.
Just the idea of getting it back just to do something, and that's just good for the spirit. And as you said, at least they're probably going to be they may be doing it at home anyway, and for the 8 hours of the day they'll be healthy and productive. So just more typical good advice here from Greg, and you can always find plenty more at SafTintegration.com. Take a look. And Greg, thank you.
Thank you, buddy.